Hello everyone, as with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. XRP's gold-like thesis is gaining serious momentum. People are comparing XRP to gold because gold is up right now. Crypto Observer Smoke points to a compelling narrative gaining momentum. XRP's gold-like characteristics may fuel increasing demand as a risk asset. With global investors questioning traditional financial systems during economic uncertainty, value-preserving, low counterparty risk assets are taking center stage, positioning XRP as a standout contender. Like gold, XRP exhibits cash-like properties that attract both speculators and long-term investors. High liquidity, global accessibility, and independence from sovereign or banking control. Honestly, XRP looks better as digital gold than Bitcoin does. XRP can move anything of value all around the world. And that's going to be the biggest game changer as we see institutional adoption. Institutions are going to choose XRP time and time again over Bitcoin. Boom. And the banks win. Crypto market structure bill advances through Senate Agriculture Committee. The banks won the battle on parking. They successfully argued that if you put your money into an account and it sits there earning 5%, that's a savings account. And only banks are allowed to do that. Old way banned. You deposit $10,000 in USDC. You do nothing. You wake up a year later with $10,500. New way, which is allowed, you deposit $10,000 into USDC. You earn zero while it sits there. But when you use it, you get paid. How using for payments works. The credit card model. Since exchanges can't pay you interest, they are going to pivot to a model that looks exactly like credit card rewards or cash back. So in other words, you have to make purchases with that stable coin. It can't just sit there and do nothing. But most people would love to have that option, and that's what we originally got. But now the banks are stripping that away. Imagine cashing out $1 million in crypto into a stable coin and then earning 5, 6, 7% on that $1 million. They don't want you to do that, because if you were able to do that, everybody would move their checking and savings account into stable coins. Paul Barron says, clarity update. It's not a no to crypto. It's a not like this to the current draft. 3 big reasons for the deadlock. The ethics gap. Dems are demanding strict bans on digital asset trading for elected officials and their families, specifically eyeing the Trump family's recent ventures. Like I said, that was going to cause a delay. If him and his family never got involved with crypto, most likely we would already be at the finish line with clarity. The quorum catch. So they want full bipartisan 5-member CFTC before the law kicks in. Currently, the agency is understaffed. And then the yield war, which I just talked about. But if the president and his kids didn't go all around the mainstream media talking about crypto, this would not be an issue at all. I think they would have came to some conclusion already. And that's why I keep bringing it up, because it's something that should have never even happened until after we got regulations in place in the United States. Update, where does XRP land in 6 months? This comes from Paul Barron as well. if the Clarity Act stalls and core PPI continues to spook the Fed. Bear case. Technicals show a death cross formation. A failure to reclaim $1.80 quickly could see us slide towards $1.25 or even 98 cents by summer. I am telling you right now, if XRP falls to 98 cents, the truck is backing up. That is for sure, because I know once that happens, we will eventually see that reversal and we will see the massive breakout that we're expecting right now. Bull case. Despite the price drop, XRP ETFs are still seeing inflows. If the bill passes against the odds, analysts still see a path back to $3 plus. Bottom line, we are in a wait-and-see purgatory. XRP is fundamentally stronger than in 2024, but the macro headwinds are a different beast. Hold the line, or is the exit door looking tempting? Here's how I look at it. I'm never selling any of my XRP. In fact, if we drop to 98 cents, I'm buying more. Even if we get close to $1.25, I'm still buying more because I already know where this is going. We are on the verge of institutional adoption, and not everything happens in the United States. If, say, for instance, they can't get this Clarity Act across the finish line, outside of the U.S., Japan is ready. The U.K. is ready. The EU is ready. We're still waiting to see what happens with BRICS. All these other countries are pushing forward with or without the United States. So eventually, XRP is going to pop off one way or another. This comes from Bill Morgan. First, I'll read what Crypto Bitlord said. It's insane to hear this crackpot dev was dumping XRP on us at 10 cents when we believed it would go to $100. Now he's saying it's unlikely it will go to $50 or $100. He's talking about David Schwartz. Bill Morgan says, that is a ridiculous take. It is like saying Bitcoin failed because someone prominent in the community who acquired it at 90 cents believed it could not get to $100 or thought that was wild and sold at $75. The fact that it subsequently reached over 120K does not mean that the decision to sell at $75 reflected anything about belief in the eventual success or value of the coin at the time of the decision to sell at $75 or that Bitcoin failed. But most people didn't even understand what David said. Here's what he said right here. When XRP was at 0.006, a price of 25 cents felt about as ridiculous as $100 does today. Remember the 2017-2018 run? Back then, people were very bullish in saying XRP is going to a quarter. And people believed that it would never even happen. Yet XRP went off and hit $3.84. Right now, what is everybody saying? $27 is where we could expect XRP to go in this major run-up. I think it's going to pull a shocker like it did in 2017 or 2018. And David Schwartz, he wasn't saying that $100 is impossible for XRP. He's just saying that some people don't believe that it could even happen. But I think most of these people are going to get proven wrong, and you're never going to hear from them ever again. This comes from Chart Nerd. Ooh, and look at who DFNS is partnered with, IBM. DFNS now officially supports the XRP ledger as a Tier 1 blockchain. Developers and institutions can now leverage DFNS secure MPC wallet infrastructure to build on the XRP ledger with institutional grade security and full API integration. Like I said, nonstop expansion for Ripple, nonstop expansion for the XRP ledger, and yet we don't see price appreciation for XRP yet. That appreciation is coming. And you always look at IBM. IBM is going to be at the core of the new financial system. I was telling people that back in 2022 when we were in the bear market, and you see the ties to Stellar, you see the ties to Ripple, you see the ties to HBAR and XDC and Algo and IOTA and QNT. IBM is at the core of all of it. And this I look at as something that will continue to add value over time. This comes from Vet. No matter what the price of XRP is, how the political and financial system situation is, the XRP ledger is closing blocks every 3 to 4 seconds, processing transactions from all around the world. Neutral, borderless, no censorship. It's next generation financial infrastructure. Even if Ripple was to fail and go bankrupt right now, the XRP ledger still continues on. The XRP ledger does not need Ripple. XRP ledger doesn't care about the price of XRP. It just continues to process transaction after transaction. After this implementation, a payment on the XRP ledger can be converted into a standard ISO message event and anchored on Flare so anyone can verify it. Then any app, contract, or agent that reads Flare can use that event as a trusted trigger to unlock features, move value, or kick off workflows across Web 2 apps or even other chains. The first XRP ledger payment has been translated into an ISO 222 structured receipt. And you see it right here. Pay on the XRP ledger, XRP payment, Flare Anchor, ISO 222 event, plus evidence hash to Web 2 apps, Web 3 on Flare, smart contracts, dApps, agents, and other chains, bots, L2s, and side chains. So there's your tie to ISO 222. And you see how XRP can be utilized within an ISO 222 payment. Yet remember, all the retail investors all over X want you to believe ISO is not a big deal. Yeah, it's not a big deal yet. ISO is going to bring value to XRP, XDC, XLM, and etc. Wait and see. Who said XRP is only for payments? Look at this. $110 million in tokenized diamonds on the XRP ledger. Real commodities on-chain, fractionalized, tradable. 5 diamond collections tokenized through Control Alt. 46 million, 35 million, 15 million, 13 million, and growing. XRP ledger is expanding beyond cross-border payments into full real-world asset tokenization. This is the playbook. Payments infrastructure first. Tokenized assets second. Full financial rails are third. XRP settles it all. The narrative that the XRP ledger is just payments is officially outdated. And I 100% agree with that. It's not just payments anymore. It is so well-rounded. It's built for enterprise adoption. It is built geared around institutional adoption. People still haven't figured it out yet, but cross-border payments are only one part of XRP going to 4 digits. Tokenization is another part. Custody and moving value in between wallets on the XRP ledger, moving tokenized assets from point A to point B, moving tokenized gold, tokenized diamonds, whatever value ends up on the XRP ledger, XRP moves it. And that's how you get to those high price points. But until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.